Good morning, Mr. Grossack. Thank you for these 60 seconds with us. We have a few questions for you. The first one is, what school did you go to?
Good morning, Ben. Thank you for your time. I went to Nilma Primary School, a small school of 34 children near Warragul.
What was your favourite subject?
My favourite subject was mathematics. I always liked numbers and I happened to be good at it, so that's probably why I liked it.
Where did you first teach?
Nearham North Primary School, a small rural school of 14 children north of Warragul is where I first taught.
How long have you been a principal at Berwick Lodge?
22 years.
What do you think about education today?
I think education today is very exciting and it's full of opportunities for children.
What do you think about students today?
I think students deep down are much the same as students have been since I was a student. I like them.
Interesting.
What's the biggest change you've seen in education?
Oh, computers have had the biggest impact on education by a long, long way.
Definitely. What is the best part of your job?
The best part of my job, there's many parts, but I always enjoy graduation night because that's the night we celebrate the completion of all the achievements of children.
What are your hobbies?
Writing, my own radio program, current affairs radio program on Casey Radio, and following the Collingwood Football Club.
What's the worst part of your job?
Suspending children and making tough staffing employment decisions.
Thank you for your time, Mr. Grossack.
And thank you, Ben and Jess, for taking the time to ask me these very interesting questions.
Hi, I'm Sam Shield and I'm a teacher here at John Monash Science School. Today we're going to be talking about what expert teachers do, and we're having a conversation with John Loughran, Dean of Education at Monash University. John, what do you think about expert teachers?
Well, it's an interesting thing, Sam. I'm concerned with the idea of teaching in as much as people watch what teachers do and they think it looks easy. And the actual expertise, what people really do, what they're good at, is hidden from the view of others. So the idea of expertise for me is about how teachers frame what they do, how they do things for a purpose. It's not just a number of activities put together, but it's about the deep ideas of learning that underpin those activities. So when I look at it, I think there's a sense of framing and a way of thoughtfully and carefully planning what's done. So how do you see that in the work that you do?
Gee, I totally agree with you when you talk about framing, because when I think about how I develop lessons or construct unit plans, there's so much more than just sequencing activities. There's so much thought about, well, yes, I've got this particular topic to cover, but how is going to be the best way to do this, and what activities will best deliver this concept? Or thinking about timing, that's probably key as well. You know, when will this concept work with this particular one? So there's so much to think about when you're teaching.
Yeah. And it's an interesting point you raised there about concepts, because I think part of expertise is about recognising the difference between delivering information and actually thinking about teaching and learning around a concept. So can you think of an example of, a conceptual approach to some teaching?
I think you raise a really good point about concepts, because often with pre-service teachers, they are all about the content. I've got to try and deliver all this information, when it's about capturing the essence of what you're talking about. So you asked for an example. I guess one of those typical ones, being a biology and chemistry teacher, is surface area to volume ratio. And so that is the big concept. Yes, we might be learning about the structure of a cell and how things move in and out of the cell, but the idea about that relationship is what's really important in the essence, because that's going to be the linking theme when we move to circulatory system or digestion. That's going to carry us through and enable students to understand.
You can see then, if somebody's watching a teacher, they can think you're just teaching a piece of information about surface area to volume. But in fact, the reality is you're creating a whole bunch of links, a whole lot of ways of looking at things, ways of bringing ideas to bear. So conceptually, you're giving students ways of thinking about learning, not just acquiring knowledge.
Absolutely, particularly in science. It's a way, we talk about thinking scientifically as a global thing, but when we're thinking about biology, there's a particular way in which we think in biology, or a particular way in which we think in chemistry, and then those underlying science skills help pull it all together.
Yeah, so that's a big idea in expert teaching.
It is. I think these are the sorts of conversations, when I think back in time when I worked with you in the education faculty, that these are the conversations about teaching and learning that help make me the teacher that I am today.